Okay. How many of you have experienced some level of a Kundalini awakening? I just am curious to find out. Okay, fascinating. That's amazing. That's a lot. That's a lot of people. Did you see that? Did you look around? Do it again. How many of you have experienced some level of a Kundalini awakening? That's a lot. That's a lot of people, isn't it? It's a lot. This is a very, very exciting time to be alive. It's also pretty scary. So we've got these two things running at the same time. We've got this incredible awakening of consciousness, while at the same time the heat is being turned up on people's fears, which those two tend to go hand in hand. Because right now it's very necessary for us to wake up. It's like we have been going through a massive contraction. You see this? Like the world's going into the sphere pocket. Right? You feel all this polarity that's happening. But this contraction, as you see, is like pulling back the bow. Right? Right before you're ready to shoot that arrow. Pew! So that contraction is actually needed in order to awaken consciousness. So it's very exciting that so many people are starting to have a Kundalini awakening, because what that means is that we're beginning to connect to source self energy, that we're beginning to learn and awaken to the divinity within ourselves inside out rather than outside in. Which gives me God bumps, even when I just say that. Did you guys feel that? It's like, for thousands of years, we have experienced being told how to have a relationship with consciousness, with God. Be it through the Christian path, be it through the Buddhist path, be it through the Hindu path. All of our world religions guide and say, well, this is how it is. But we're learning from the inside, from the outside in. With Kundalini Awakening, it's an inside out journey. So here's the thing. It's not what it appears to be. So from somebody who I started having my Kundalini Awakening experience back in 2006. And it was intense. It was absolutely intense at the time. I felt like a cat in heat. Like seriously. Because Kundalini, when it begins to awaken, is very sensual. Has anyone else experienced that out there? Right? Yeah, it's very, very sensual when it begins to like take hold. But the thing is that Kundalini awakening is just the beginning. And if our Kundalini begins to awaken without it being connected to the heart and without it being connected to humility, it can go sideways. And we see that on the planet. We've seen it for thousands of years, where you have these leaders, these great spiritual leaders who are incredibly charismatic, who have a lot of Kundalini awakening, but then they don't do their shadow work. And because they don't acknowledge their own humanity, the Kundalini awakens and they connect to source, self, but they're not connected to the human within. So Kundalini awakening is just the beginning. It's not the end all. What it does is it opens us up to that source and our connection to our source self. But we must do the work on ourselves as humans and be humble in our process. Because as a Kundalini starts to churn on the inside of us, what it's doing is it's actually churning and bringing up all of that unprocessed stuff from down below. Who's experienced that? And that can be really, really confusing, yes? Because as your Kundalini awakens and you connect more to Source, when you feel that humanity coming up, and you feel triggered, and people are pissing you off, and you're really, really sad, or you get really depressed, then you wonder if your Kundalini awakening is real, and it can throw you off, right? So today, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the deeper pieces, actually touching upon these deeper pieces, working with the two channels of love that are necessary for Kundalini awakening. And I think this is a conversation that we're going to be having a lot more of on the planet. This is just the beginning. And here's the amazing thing, is once our Kundalini starts to awaken and we start to learn inside out, we're not as susceptible anymore to falling into groupthink. We become sovereign beings. But with this becomes a huge responsibility to do our shadow work, which is the love of the self and a human. I want to show you all something. I have a dear friend here who's an amazing artist. I've got a lot of hair. So she made this beautiful necklace. Do you see this? This looks like the infinity symbol, yes? Okay. So I want to show you this. Melissa, can you hold that up? I'm going to show you something else. Okay, so that same symbol. Okay, so you can see it this way too. It's a little bit bigger. So this is like, represents, I've got some feedback going over here. Yeah, just turn that down a little bit. So these two different circles. And you can see this is like an infinity symbol, yes? Like that. These two circles represent heaven and earth. It represents your divinity and your human. It represents the active and the receptive. It represents the masculine, and divine feminine. This is you. And both of these together are this, which is oneness. So when you pull that apart, of the masculine, divine feminine, heaven and earth, we get this one circle, which is who we all are. It is the whole self. But that whole self is truly blessed with this dance of heaven and earth. And this is the important piece, like the chunky piece, that I feel really passionate about sharing with the world. And that is that it's not just about awakening to our source self and experiencing our multidimensionality, which is awesome and it's fun and it's amazing and it's necessary. But just as necessary is experiencing your multidimensionality and connecting with the sacred, as all of our world religions have really focused on and said is the path. The path that they have not focused on, and it is time to focus on, is the human. And the awakening of the human through full radical self-acceptance and compassion for our humanity. We've been taught for eons. And I believe it was necessary at the time. That's where consciousness was. Consciousness didn't know any better at the time. It was doing the best that it could to teach these beautiful precepts and different pillars of, speaking of releasing attachments, right? In Buddhism, we were taught to overcome our desires by releasing our attachments. But what that does is it says that there's something wrong with the human. And when we hear that Jesus died on the cross for our sins, what that does is it says that there's something wrong with the human. You see where I'm going? And where consciousness is moving now is this is a time to celebrate our humanity, because the human is necessary to grow consciousness. Without the human, there is no growth of consciousness. Just as the seed needs to be planted within the fertile darkness in order to take root before it can grow, before it has wings to fly towards the sun, so too do we as humans. We come into the fertile darkness of the womb, and literally this unconscious realm that we call planet Earth, where there's a lot of unconsciousness. Yes? Yes? A lot. And I don't know about you, but I recognize there's a lot of unconsciousness within myself, that I'm meeting on a day-to-day basis. But this is the place. The fertile darkness is the place. And life shows us this. Nature shows us this. This is the place of growth. And God consciousness doesn't grow without the human. God just gets to be love, right? We get to be unconditional love in our oneness. But the truth is that we come from love and we return to love because we already are love. So there's nothing to try to transcend, not transcend the human to get back into love, but to actually embody our divinity, which is who we are. Embody it in this form, which means to fall in love with yourself. You with all your blind spots and your weaknesses. To fall in love with the human. But to do that, we must start with fully accepting the human. So we're going to, as I said, touch upon this because we have a short amount of time. And I'm going to spit that out to y'all because this is a very chunky piece. And this is where the divine feminine is being called to rise. But first, she has to root before she rises. And we've disowned the divine feminine for so long, thinking that we had to transcend the human, transcend the divine feminine, transcend this earth. And instead, what we've been missing all along is we got to get in these bodies. We got to get into the love and make it real. Who knows the Velveteen Bunny story, the Velveteen Rabbit? Not that many of you. Okay, it's an awesome story, but it's about this stuffed animal who loves a little boy, and the little boy loves a stuffed animal, and the little boy gets scarlet fever, and the bunny's about ready to be thrown out because the bunny's gone through scarlet fever. The little boy loves the little boy, has its eyes practically rubbed off. It's just filled with this love, along with going into that fertile darkness, so to speak, with the little boy. And right before that bunny is going to be thrown into the incinerator because of the scarlet fever, the bunny gets to become real. And it becomes real because of the challenges, because of being there when it's really hard. And that's us. That's who we are. So if we want to go high, if we want to touch our divinity, we got to go low too. You can only go as high as you go deep. And I'm telling you, you can only go as deep as you go high as well. They go together. It's this balance of this beautiful dance. And as Melissa shows over there, I was just so inspired because Tatiana, who's sitting over here, she creates these beautiful pieces. And when I saw this piece, I'm like, this is it. This is like literally the symbol that needs to not needs to, but that expresses this beautiful dance of consciousness that is necessary. And the activation of the Kundalini that you're experiencing, we are the tip of the iceberg of that. Or you could say like the front of the wave, so to speak. Because those of us who've had Kundalini Awakening, it's like we're there, but it's everybody's coming. Nobody's going to be left behind. There's this huge wave that's coming behind. We may be like pulling it, but it's all going to happen. So how we work with this now, not drink our own Kool-Aid, not be like, oh my God, I've had this Kundalini experience and I'm so cool, but rather, I'm awakening, holy shit, what do I do with this? And actually go deep with it. Really go deep. So, what I'd love to begin with today is to take us into a divine bowing to not only our divinity, but also to the courageous human that you are. The courageous human that said yes to coming to this planet to grow consciousness. Because if it weren't for all of you really brave, I say extreme life sport souls, consciousness would not be growing the way that it is. It's because of all of us together, right? So let us feel into bowing to the divinity within you, to your source self, but also bowing to the courageous human that you are. Yes? So we're going to be singing to open the gateway, to open the Kundalini gateway. We truly come into that place of humility, which is the child. Like in our mass meditation, it was all about the inner child. Wonder, curiosity, coming from that beautiful, innocent space. And bowing to that beautiful, innocent space within all of us. We're going to sing Ong Namo, Guru Dev Namo, and we're going to be singing Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, Ong Namo Guru Dev Namo, this bowing to the divinity within ourselves and all things. But you notice I'm adding the human, because a human is outrageously divine. Outrageously. And Om Gam Ganapataye is bowing to our root chakra, Ganesha, so to speak, the energy of Ganesha, which is humility. It is that the consciousness of the child. And Ganesha truly represents the human. So as we bow, we're bowing to the human float within the sea, the flute within the reed, the harvest in the grain, the ocean in the wind, Titan in the swell, their eyes within the fold, falling formless girls, your light of consciousness. Celebrate the human, the divinity, and the dance of the human and the divine together within ourselves. We say yes to this life, like really, with all of it, that we're all in together, that we're really all in. Who's all in? So as we say yes to life, we say yes to the working with those pieces that in the past we may have wanted to disown and said, no, that's not who I am. How many times have we said, oh, I wasn't feeling like myself. That wasn't me. Right? Right? When we're sad, when we're depressed, when we're angry, when we get triggered, oh, that wasn't me. It wasn't you? Like, really? There was a stand-in that came in when that happened? I don't know. If rather than pushing that away, and I'm talking not even trying to like do the work of Byron Katie. You know, for those of you who do Byron Katie work, and it's beautiful, right? Like asking, is this true? Is this really true? Even with that, it presupposes that there's something wrong there. So I'm going to do a different little incredible tool that I came upon because I'm one of these people that is always looking for like, okay, that doesn't quite work. I am still really struggling here. And with that struggle, what I found is that radical self-acceptance is absolutely, positively the key. And it goes like this. So first of all, I want you to imagine, because Kundalini, when our Kundalini starts to awaken, and even before our Kundalini starts to awaken, in order to really hold that container so that it can grow and expand to be able to hold more love. More love. We work with the energy of shame and judgment. Okay? So this is probably going to feel a little bit different for you, for those of you who haven't done this kind of work. And I'm giving you just a little bit of a taste of this today, since we have a limited amount of time. And I just want you to see what happens when we do this work. And when you are committed to loving, not just God, but the God that you are in form. Okay? So I want you to think of something that you're either ashamed of in your life, something that it could be something from the past, it could be something right now, or an aspect of yourself that you judge, because shame and judgment are very close to one another, yes? So feeling into either something you judge about yourself, or even if you're judging of other people. Okay? So find something. So I'm going to give you just like 30 seconds to close your eyes and to feel, to really drop into your truth of something that is a rub within you that you don't necessarily like so much about yourself. Okay, you got something? Raise your hand if you have something meaty to work with. Okay. And for those of you who don't have your hands raised, I'm positive that you judge something. If you're human, you have a judgment. It could even be that the music is loud. Right? So you find something, you know where that rub is on the inside of you. Okay, so I'm going to show you. You take one hand, and like we did in the mass meditation today, you bring one hand on your heart, and you bring the other hand on your belly. The hand on your heart is your connection to your source self. It's your soul. It is that unconditional love within you. The hand on your belly represents your humanity. You can really know that this belly area is so connected to humanity because you get butterflies in your stomach when you think that other people think certain things about you, or you're nervous about how you're going to present in the world. Your stomach goes, man, right? So this is the personality. This is where we find a lot of those uncomfortable emotions are in the belly. It's also our gut instinct. So it's really important to connect and honor this belly. So as you touch your heart and you touch your belly, you're bringing these two worlds together. You're honoring your human. You're loving your human. And we're going to do an exercise where we say, it's okay that I feel either ashamed, or it's okay that I'm judging. And then you say to yourself whatever that is. All right? So we're going to do that. And as a group, we're all doing it as an individual, okay? So we're all just going to say it to ourselves and out loud in this group, because we're all doing it at the same time. We're becoming more vulnerable, courageously vulnerable together, yes? So, whatever that is, it's okay that I feel, Are you ready? On a count of 3, we're going to do this. 1, 2, 3. It's okay that I feel ashamed about feeling insecure. Now, I don't want to be the only one who says that, okay? So, I'm going to do it one more time. And again, we're going to say, it's okay. And I want you to feel how it feels to acknowledge your humanity. So, 1, 2, 3. It's okay that I feel ashamed about all my insecurities that I carry. About not being smart enough, not being strong enough, not being the most beautiful. It's okay. It's okay that I feel ashamed. It's okay that I judge myself for not being smart enough, on top of it enough. And then we're going to add to that, I completely love and accept myself. Let's say that together. I completely love and accept myself. I completely love and accept myself. And again, we're going to say whatever we were saying before, because I want you to get used to this and to really feel it and how different that calibration is in your body, okay? It's okay that I feel ashamed around not being smart enough, not being strong enough, not being most beautiful. It's okay that I'm ashamed that I'm getting older. It's okay. I completely love and accept myself. 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 Notice how that feels. Did you notice anything shift? Raise your hand if you felt something shift. Isn't that so much easier, right? What if we all did that? What if we're like, yeah, I'm ashamed about the feelings of resistance to getting older. You know, instead of being like, oh, I'm fine. I'm just aging gracefully here. Right? Like, to be honest about those things. It's okay that I'm ashamed that I'm a little vain. It's okay that I like to feel really smart. You see, all of that, once we start to normalize it, it loses that powerful grip on ourselves. And it actually, that shame and that judgment starts to transmute. And what else happens with that? The next piece is when we start, it starts to lose its grip upon us. Like I can be like, yes, I'm a bit vain. And just have, like, play with it. Right? See a little bit of humor in it. Right? When I can start to do that, when you can start to do that, not only does it lose its grip on us, but we don't judge others as much anymore. Can you feel that? We don't expect others to be as perfect because we don't expect ourselves to be as perfect anymore. You see that? So we're not trying to prove to ourselves that it's not true that we feel this way, right? So I could come up with all these, well, it's not true that you're not smart enough. You're really smart. Look at this and this and this and this, Larisa. But the whole thing is, if I play that game, I'm not really accepting myself and even all my limiting beliefs. Do you see that? With this, you begin to accept even the parts of yourself that have limiting beliefs. And it's like, that's okay, it's very human. Do you see that? Can you imagine what would happen to the world if we did this work? It's very simple. But you understand, it's so simple, and yet it takes a lot of work. It's like going to the gym, right? And lifting weights. How many people go to healers and expect healers to heal them? It's like going to the gym and expecting someone over there to lift your weights so that you can increase your own muscles. Do you see that? So we do this work ourselves, and we increase that muscle of unconditional love that loves us no matter what. And here is the beauty. When you become the one that loves yourself unconditionally, then you become like God consciousness that loves unconditionally. Do you see that? Do you see that? Do you see how powerful that is? Like that's outrageous. I mean, I don't know about you all, but that one just really gets me. You feel that? You could become the unconditional love that you have always opened and wanted from Source. You become that for yourself. See? So, we are going to get into a partner exercise with one another, okay? So just look at somebody next to you, and you're going to turn towards someone next to you. This means allowing yourself to be a little bit vulnerable, because if we're going to become a world of unconditional love, then we're going to have to become a lot more vulnerable. So looking at your partner, turning your bodies towards your partner. I want you to imagine what you were just thinking about, your own, that place that came up within you of feeling ashamed or judgment. Looking at your partner, I want you to imagine that they experience the exact same thing as you. That they have the same feelings of judgment or the same feelings of shame. And imagine yourself just being that witness. And what it feels like to look at your partner, to really be okay with that judgment and that shame. To see the humanity. To see that this is an opportunity to grow. We're going to be singing, listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. And just notice what happens to your heart as you sit and just be with your partner. And I invite you to keep your eyes open even if tears are falling. And just be a witness. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. turn yourselves back around. Who had like a really big opening that you would like to share? Anyone feel that courageous vulnerability coming up right now to share with the group? Will you come up?
Hi everyone. My name's Lily, and well, I go to a lot of festivals, and so this is my first time going to like something very spiritual, like by myself also. I didn't realize until right now that this is my boyfriend's cousin, and I just thought he was some random stranger. And I was like, wow, I feel so connected to this stranger. And then I was like, oh, I'm Lily, nice to meet you. He was like, I'm Cyrus. And I was like, oh, you're my boyfriend's cousin. And we met last weekend at his quinceañera. Yeah, I told him, I was like, I'm going to Disclosurefest. wasn't until I sat down here and I was like, oh. And I didn't realize who you were until I heard your voice, and I was like, I came here for Life Coach. And that was such an awakening experience for me. And my hands were literally tingling. I felt like I was holding the whole universe's hand. I felt like every soul in the universe was just holding my hand, and it was just this universal feeling of love and oneness, and we're all one consciousness, I feel, and it's beautiful. And I've been struggling a lot with, finding inner peace and acceptance of myself, and I've learned a lot. I've been taking notes this whole time, and I can't wait to really dive more into this. And I'm so grateful to be here. You're all so amazing. You're all beautiful, and I'm so beyond words. I can't even explain. It's just a feeling of love and oneness, and yeah. So I appreciate all of you, and you're beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you for being courageous and sharing your vulnerability. That's so what we need right now in the world, is so we see and we can feel how we're so similar, right? We have spent a lot of time putting on that mask. Now it's time to take it down. And when we do that, it creates emotional intimacy with ourselves, with others. It creates a deeper relationship with ourselves, and that's what Kundalini Awakening is about. And the two sides being the human, loving and accepting the human, and the other side being opening to that energetic, intimate connection with Source and our multidimensionality within ourselves. So now that we did that deeper part, and again, I'm we're touching on it really quick, right? It's okay, everybody, we're going to do this really fast at a festival. We're going to get in as much as we can in a really short amount of time, but let's do it. We can do it. The next piece, the chunky piece, is connecting, opening, inviting our Kundalini to awaken. So we're going to call to our spirit first. We're going to sing, which vibration is such a powerful pathway to activating the Kundalini. Believe me, it is. Sitting in the seat of sound and vibration. And then what we're going to do is we're going to work with some movement with the Kundalini so that we can begin to entrain it a bit. And my God, I wish I had more time with you all, but I'm blessed. We're blessed to be together in this time pocket right now. And I'm switching from a mailing list to a guest book today for the first time in my life. And all these years of having a band and teaching workshops, I'm like, Donna Delori, those of you who know who she is, she just shared with a group of us that she just brings around this guest book. And I'm like, that is brilliant, because then everybody, it's like family, it's like this little book that you can look in, this little sacred book. So if you would like to dive deeper into these waters, okay, put your name in my little book that I brought today, along with your email address, and you can also put your experience if you want to write down things that came up for you, but star it if you specifically want to do this kind of work. You can put your name in there, your email, if you want to know all things that are happening, but this kind of the Kundalini work, and I will reach back to you about that specifically, okay, if that's up for you. So okay, we're going to sing Calling Back My Spirit. Very, very simple. I wrote this one so that it could be something that we could easily sing together, and to call back your spirit. So easy to sing. So will you be courageously vulnerable and sing really loud even if you don't sing in tune? You promise? Are you all in? Okay, you're my kind of people. That's what I love. Okay. Yeah, not on this one. Yeah, the next one I'm going to teach you a movement to activate the Kundalini. We're going to sing this together. It's vibrational. Call to the heart. I'm calling back my spirit. spirit. I'm calling to my heart. I'm calling to my spirit. I'm calling to my heart. Come home, come home. She's calling me. The river returns to the sea. Come home, come home. She's calling me. The river returns to the sea. Come home, come home. She's calling me. The river returns to the sea. Come home, come home. She's calling me. Just trust the wind beneath your calling to the spirit. I'm calling to my heart. I'm calling to my spirit. I'm calling to my heart. Yeah, it gets juicy, yes? It's like, whoa, open that up, open that up, open that heart up. So now we're going to work with the movement that invites. This is just the first layer, okay? There are 3 layers to this, and it's called riding the dragon. And there's different parts of riding the dragon. This is the physical part. There's the emotional component to riding the dragon, which is really facing your fears in life. And facing your fears takes great courage. And courage comes from the word courage, I believe, which is the heart. It's the heart. So courage is about the heart and facing the fears. And as we face our fears and have the courage to do so, it brings us into alignment with our source, with our heart, with ourselves, with unconditional love. The physical is about inviting and creating a relationship with your energy. And that energy is multidimensional. When we take away the words, all the words make us human. Words put us in a little box, so to speak, right? It puts us in a certain frequency, like turning different radio stations and hearing different frequencies and songs on the different channels. Yes? When we don't have the words, we go boom, 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 boom. We can go up. We can. That's why when we make love, we don't really talk so much, do we? Not so much. Because you're in pure energy, you're in flow, you're in communion, you're in relationship with. So the same thing, you're so welcome. The same thing exists within yourself. It's creating the relationship of the lover and the beloved within yourself. Right? So we will give you this little piece. And Thank you, beloveds. Before we end this workshop today, this play shop, and we're going to be playing an Adi Shakti mantra, which is, I know, is in the explanation of what this play shop is. And Adi Shakti is that primordial divine feminine energy. It is the Shakti Kundalini. So we are going to be seeding that as we work with this movement. And I am going to show you. I have to step away a little bit from the harmonium so you can see. Okay. Let's see. Can I just get there for a second, sweet pie? Okay. So I invite you to come into crisscross applesauce. And actually, John, can you hand me that mic stand? Yeah. So this is just the first layer. As we go deeper into working with the Kundalini Awakening, it gets juicier and juicier, just saying. But it's not really appropriate, honestly, to do it at a festival. Not that it's sexual, and not that like that. But it's more, it's so deep that it needs a container. And the festival is like wide open, and we need a deeper container to go courageously vulnerable with ourselves and to feel like we could trust one another, to let ourselves be seen a bit more. So this first layer, which we all can do, and it's the beginning, and I do this every day, mind you, every single day I ride the dragon. Every day. Why? Because it creates a bridge between the human and multidimensionality and source self. So it's all about relationship. It's all about the lover and the beloved within yourself. So we begin by what looks like you're just doing a yogic move, but it's deeper. So it looks like this. I'm going to take it slow. And I just want you to see it to begin with. So, and then I'll explain a little bit more of the nuances. So when I begin that, what's happening on the inside is there's literally a scraping that happens on the inside. It's not like a normal yogic move where you're just going around in a circle. We're taught to do that in yoga. It's what I have been taught inside out. I call them the frequencies. That's a whole other story. I'm not going to get into it. But it's scraping the vessel, which is literally scraping your fascia on the inside. It's like an inside-out massage. Why that's important is because you are literally creating a relationship, a tangible relationship with yourself inside out. You're getting to know yourself, your feelings. And as you do this movement, you begin to also stir up to the surface. It begins to bring up the things that you're up against in your life. And you just bring this movement and this inside-out connection with yourself as you're working it. And you may have thoughts come up, and it's a beautiful way just to open and accept what's moving through you and to create a relationship with your body and your energy. Does that make sense? This is just, as I said, this is just the first layer. There's 3 layers, and the 3rd layer actually has different aspects to it too. But this is a really important one, and just starting to connect with yourself. And why we do this movement, you'll notice I went counterclockwise. Counterclockwise is the signature movement of the Divine Feminine and embodiment. So actually, when we're moving in this direction, what we're doing is we are asking our divinity to embody in this beautiful human temple, right? And when we go clockwise, what we're doing is the human that has embodied is actually reaching out towards and ascending. You don't ascend until you go down. You go down before you go up. You see that? You see that? So then you give your gifts, you give love, you reach out to your divine consciousness as you're going clockwise. And as you, I'm getting into the 2nd layer, whoops. I'm like, I'm already going, I'm starting to dive into the 2nd layer. We're not quite there yet. Okay, let me keep it simple. So working with this movement, you do want to go counterclockwise, and then you want to go clockwise. I would say give yourself, if you're willing to really dive into a relationship with the Kundalini, give yourself at least 6 minutes of counterclockwise and 6 minutes of clockwise a day. If you're ready to be an initiate rather than a tourist of the Kundalini. Who's ready to become an initiate of your own Kundalini? Okay, all in, right on. Okay, so this is the practice, and we're going to play a mantra while you play with this, okay? So, and then we're going to close this workshop today because, time flies. And we would do a lot more. But again, if you are curious about going deeper with this, to me, this is the most exciting and profound change and shift that's happening on the planet right now, is working with this inside-out awakening within ourselves. So if you're interested in doing deeper work with me or deeper work within the community in retreat situations, sign up on the guest book, okay? All right, so I'm going to take this back over to the harmonium. I want to thank my musicians. John Zell on guitar. Melissa Robin on vocals. Bethany Grace on violin. So incredibly blessed to have these incredible musicians and gigantic hearts with me as well. This is like family. So blessed. All right. So, just so you know, what we're singing up here, chanting is Om Aim Hreem Shreem Sa Adi Shakti Namah. That's like a powerful, potent, you could call it a spell, it's literally creating this really strong formula of seed sounds that are about gently activating your Kundalini. Yes. Om Aim Hreem Shreem Sa Adi Shakti Namah. And if you go to Larisa Stow and Shakti Tribe on YouTube, you can find that video, because we, Larisa Shakti Love Warriors on Facebook, we have every day we meditate together from the 11 of the hour to the 22 of the hour. Every day, people. And it's pretty amazing. And we have different leaders. In fact, I've got some leaders right here up front who help to lead our meditations throughout the week. And so we did over a 40-day practice of the Adi Shakti mantra in our 1111 group together as a community. It was really amazing. And so I recorded, there's recordings of it, but you can go onto YouTube, you can see it, or you can go onto Facebook into our group. If you go on and you search Larisa's Shakti Love Warriors, you can sign up and join that group, and you can get access to those videos. And okay, so that's another way to get plugged in and work with that Kundalini. Adi Shakti Namah Om Hrim Shrim 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 Shakti places that want to be felt within you, that want to be touched. Create a relationship with yourself. And then love yourself as you're moving through this. Just opening up to your divinity by loving yourself. Giving yourself the attention that you crave. It's beautiful, beautiful. Om Hrim Shrim Adi Shakti Namah Om Hrim Shrim Adi Shakti Namah Om Hrim Shrim Shakti Namah Om Hrim Shrim Adi Shakti Namah Om Hrim Shrim Adi Shakti gift of your human. All of the ahas that the human has learned. That you're divinity. I invite you to bring your hands all the way out to the side, like this, like you're about ready to hug the whole entire world. Like your big, huge hug, and you take those arms and you bring them around yourself. And you hug yourself really big. And we say thank you. We say thank you, thank you, thank you to the human, the courage to incarnate to this denser reality of gravity and grace, so that you can grow and grow and go beyond what you know to embody love. Say thank you, self. Thank you, me. Say thank you, me. And say your own name. Thank you. Say your own name. Larisa. Thank you, everyone, for coming here today.